The French president did it again yesterday, another classic foot-in-the-mouth moment where he casually insulted a bunch of African nations. Take a look.
One part was our commitment to fighting terrorism since 2013. We were right. I think some have forgotten to say thank you, but that's okay. It'll come in time. I'm in a good position to know that ingratitude is a disease that cannot be transmitted to humans. But I say this for all the African governments who have not had the courage, in the eyes of their public opinion, to bear it. None of them would be in a sovereign country today if the French army had not been deployed in this region.
Somehow, Macron thought that this was the right time to pick a new fight with people who already don't seem to like him very much, the people of Africa. You know that France has been on the back foot in Africa over the past few years. It had military bases all over the continent, mostly in its former colonies in West and Central Africa. French troops have been squatting there for decades. He blames the African nations. Macron called them ungrateful. And then he said, and let me quote again, none of them would be in a sovereign country today if the French army had not been deployed in this region. How tone-deaf can you be? If anything, the African countries would have been sovereign sooner if not for the French army. Macron's mental gymnastics are truly world-class, but obviously the African nations were not impressed. Chad and Senegal have called him out. He said Macron holds, and I'm quoting again, a contemptuous attitude towards Africa and Africans, destabilized countries like Libya, which contributed to the Sahel security crisis. And then Sonko issued a parting shot. Let me quote again, this is what he said. This is finally the place to remind President Macron that if African soldiers, sometimes forcibly mobilized, mistreated and ultimately betrayed, had not deployed during the Second World War to defend France, it would perhaps still be Germany today. During the Second World War, Germany had occupied parts of France. We know that the US, Britain and the Soviet Union helped liberate the country, but we often forget the role of African soldiers, conscripts from French colonies who fought to free France from the Nazis. It seems Macron had forgotten this too, but Sonko was happy to remind him.